Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles and cousins, of course, and sassies and grumpies, or if you prefer, nanas and papas, and baseball fans everywhere, welcome to this edition of the Valley Baseball League Video Rewind Series. Yes, everyone, it's day 37. We are fast approaching the playoffs from 2019. For those of you just dialing in, we're taking a look back at the 2019 season by doing these 2020 rewind games. And to be completely honest, it's hard to believe that, we started these podcasts in April. The game started when the Valley League season would have normally started, which was May 29th. And we're now just a couple of weeks away from what are going to be the playoffs from the 2019 season. And I've got to tell you, having been involved in this thing, the season's gone by incredibly fast. I know we didn't play any real baseball, but going back and recapping the games and working through all the details, you guys know I don't do it by myself. You see Aaron and Jordan, you'll see them here in a second. But there's a whole crew of other people that help make this happen. We put up a podcast recently of them. You got a chance to meet the Jameses, the Tims, the MKs, the Vs. They're pro athletes, so they've got cool names. Tyler's, Allison's, everybody that helps make this happen. It's an incredible effort by an incredibly great team. If you haven't got a chance to take a behind-the-scenes look at the people who make all of this stuff happen, from the Instagram post to the Facebook post to the YouTube post to all the graphics, please go back and see that podcast. It's an amazing crew. They're a tribute to their schools, and they are clearly going to be successful individuals, judging by the integrity, the determination, and the commitment they brought to the Valley League season. And we weren't even playing any real baseball this season. Anyway, a true cast of professionals, and I can't say enough about them. And you know what? If I had to do it again, I would go to JMU, because the caliber of students they're turning out is just really incredible. And I want to thank all the people at JMU who've helped make this happen, from Brad and Dave and Jen and all the people on the staff at the Hart School and also at the School of Arts and Media Design. But anyway, go check out that podcast. It's an incredible group of people, and we're bringing you some great players. But if you don't get a chance to meet our team, you're really missing out on some of the other talent in the league. And to quote Dayton Moore, because I haven't done that enough this season, this league is first and foremost for the players, but it's also a great place for the umpires, coaches, trainers, and all the other media professionals behind the lines that have helped establish their career. Two that established it from Charlottesville have podcasts. Gavin, check out his podcast. And there's other podcasts up there from other interns who've come out of this league and gone on to greatness in professional careers. Anyway, enough about our interns and the team that makes this happen. Let's talk about baseball. We had some great baseball, and we got to bring in the crew for that. Everybody say hi to Aaron.
Hi.
And everybody say hi to Jordan.
Hey, everybody. And Graham, were you saying something about the Dukes at all? I don't know if I heard you earlier. But...
You know what? I'll keep going on about it. I really will. I can't tell you how impressed I am. This is the second year I've gone down on behalf of the Valley Baseball League and gone to JMU and found some interns who agreed to come and help do what we do in the Valley. And it's just been incredible. Incredibly impressed with the education the Dukes get and the commitment they bring. That's not to say that the folks in Chapel Hill don't do a good job as well. We know from all of Aaron's hard work that that's a really seriously great school as well. But anyway, I just had to talk about our team, because we really do have an incredible team. And most people don't get a chance to join in on our Zoom meetings on either Mondays or Fridays and see the cast of characters and the Zoom screen filled with all the little boxes of all the people help making this happen. So speaking of making it happen, Jordan, will you please help me make it happen by setting the stage for what happened back on July 10th in the Valley?
Saying the word happened quite a couple times there, Graham. But yeah, if we really want to talk about who's got it happening right now, look no further than the Charlottesville Tom Sox. This is a team that right there, they're playing King of the Hill right now, back and forth with the Waynesboro Generals and the Strasburg Express. It is really down. I think personally that these three teams who have just been killing it this season, they have really made a name for themselves as the three best teams in the league. And again, Woodstock is right there too. But Charlottesville is going to get the focus tonight, and they're going to take on a Purcellville team who, after that slow start, we said they were firing all cylinders. Their ammunition may have been just a little short tonight, because Charlottesville, They are not messing around anymore. When you are at that point where the playoffs are right there and you have a chance to go in as the top dog, it is always plenty motivating to go on in and just take what is yours. And they definitely went in for that tonight. The Sox currently, they have that third highest power ranking from John. Will it go, maybe up? We have to just keep watching as the playoffs approach. But let me say this, the Sox right now 16-12 on the season, a fantastic overall performance from them. One player that I really want to call out for an individual performance tonight, we've talked about Thomas Francisco a lot in these past podcasts, but between his hitting streaks and his batting average, he's sitting at a .453 batting average on the season, which is phenomenal tonight. And Christian Hlinka tonight is really going to also make a big difference on the mound too for this Tom Sox team that is really trying to state their case that they are the best team in the Valley League. Graham, I don't know. Tom Sox are making a pretty convincing case for themselves right now.
Yeah, they really are. At some point, I might have to go back and look at the batting averages, because if you think about some of the podcasts we've done with some of the players who played on the Tom Sox, I mean, there are a number of them hitting in the 400s. Really strong. Michael Walensky comes to mind, and many others. So, I wonder how many of these teams, what the stats are in terms of, strongest offense, etc. Aaron, you've helped with some of these podcasts. Is it something in the water? I remember we were talking to, maybe it was Sam Perlazzo or somebody, maybe it was Michael Walensky. I don't remember, but Joe finally asked him, he's like, what were you drinking? Any thoughts on, is the batting averages in Charlottesville, is it unusual?
It is definitely unusual, but sometimes it can be contagious. And especially if you just have, kind of good team chemistry, you feed off of each other. And this night in particular, they had 20 hits. They had 4 runs in the 2nd, the 6th, and the 7th. So you get one going, and then the next guy steps up and does the same. So they really have been feeding off of each other. And I'm sure you watching the game, you can see the excitement in these players for each other. And that's what really helps, is when you're not playing for individual accolades, you really are happy when everybody on the team is doing well. And we're seeing that in Charlottesville for sure.
Yeah, I think, and thinking back on some of the podcasts we've done with like the Sam Crawfords of the world, and the others, I do think there's something to be said for how Charlottesville does their teamwork, how they brought the team in, took them out to dinner, and then, kind of the team melded. I also think there's something to be said for the way they kind of use, and that uses the wrong word, incorporates probably a better word. We'll have to defer to our wordsmith in a second on this one. The D3 players, because a certain magic happens, I think, when you bring in a D3 player, and, they kind of create a bond and maybe a little bit of a rivalry between them and the other D1 players on the team, have something to prove. Anyway, this wasn't the only game that took place back on July 10th. Aaron, you want to set up some of the other action that took place?
Yeah, so these two would be considered D1 caliber teams right now, Waynesboro and Strasburg. They're both leading their divisions, and they battled it out. Waynesboro got the best of Strasburg in this one, 8-4. But I mean, without a couple really big performances, it would have been a bigger differential there, because Strasburg's Tyler Johnson, he came in and hit 2 home runs. So he accounted for a few of those runs. He ended up having 3 RBIs and went 3 of 4 on the night. So without his performance, this would have been a bigger difference in the outcome. But the Generals had 6 players themselves that combined for 10 hits. They had a big 4th and 6th innings, those two combining for 7 runs together. So they really came out and did well offensively with the 8-4 final for the Generals. The Generals now lead the South by 3 games, and the Express lead the North by 3.5. So they're really, as we've said with John Leonard, the cream of the crop in those divisions and in the league right now. Another battle between Newmarket and Covington ended up with the same score. Newmarket winning this one 8-4 over Covington, but a little bit different caliber teams here. The Rebels end after this game now with a 14-16 record, and the Lumberjacks have a 14-14 record. So they're sitting right around 500 right now on the season. So not bad. But the one guy that stood out to me in this game was Jonas Segers. He was the hitter of the day, and rightfully so. He had 3 hits, went 3 of 4, scored 4 runs, had 1 walk, a double, and a home run. So he had a really incredible night. And then he stole 3 bases on top of that, which brings him to 18 stolen bags on the year. So I am not going to go for a race with Jonas Segers because I will still be making my way to first base, but then he'll probably be all the way around to home. I am that slow, but he is a good talent out of Virginia Tech.
Yeah, clearly a talent. You think about the pitchers on that team, going into it, he's going for it. And then after he takes the first one, are you taking your eye off of him or are you watching him closer? So to do that 3 times in one game really is a standout. But these weren't the only standout games in the Valley back on July 10th. There were a couple others. Jordan, catch everybody up on those.
Yeah, Graham, if I could say first, I think if I was still in my military shape, top peak shape, a race with Jonas Segers would have been incredible. But yeah, like Aaron said, he's totally got my number right now too. Also, like what Aaron said, with her games being 8-4, I've got an 8-4 ball game as well. And this came down between the Front Royal Cardinals and the Winchester Royals. It's funny how it works out that way. What hasn't really been exactly funny this season, though, has just been maybe sort of what's been going on in Front Royal. They have really struggled this season. But if you do want to find one constant just sort of spark that the Front Royal Cardinals have had, it has come off the arm of Shane Scott, who really in this 2020 Rewind season has been the magic man for the Front Royal Cardinals. Stats in this game, which I'll divert to my notes, 7 2/3 innings that Scott will take the mound in this game tonight, striking out 5. And through everything with the turmoil and just some of the struggles that the Cardinals have had this season, he is still pitching a season ERA of 2.44 on the year. So still a fantastic season for Shane Scott with the young Cardinals. But you know what? Hey, 8-4 victory for them tonight, handing a royal flush to Winchester. Graham, I finally said it. But the Front Royal, a much-needed victory out there. And then going to the Woodstock River Bandits and the Harrisonburg Turks, the Harrisonburg Turks have really been struggling at the plate as of late. And when you look at John's pitcher of the day in this one, really pitching for Woodstock, that doesn't make it any easier. Tristan Bayless, he strikes out 10 Turks in a little over 6 innings. We talked about how just recently Harrisonburg in a past game struck out 13 times in a baseball game. It is really hard to win games when you are dealing with offensive woes such as this. But you know what? It has probably never been a better time to be a Woodstock River Bandit fan. These aren't the Woodstock River Bandits. They're not living in the van down by the river anymore like they did in 2018. They're living in a party bus down by the river right now, the way they have played. I'm going to throw in a Chris Farley reference, but listen, this has been a fantastic turnaround season for the Woodstock River Bandits. I'm proud of them. Graham, I know you got to be proud of them. But they really, another good game for them in a total showcase. 6-3 tonight over the Harrisonburg Turks.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go for these aren't your grandfather's Woodstock River Bandits, or if you prefer, your Grumpy's River Bandits. Anyway, yeah, and it was hard not to get excited about them. I do want to do a little pitching comparison just for a second and kind of compare offenses from the different teams in this league. When you look at a score of Charlottesville 18-3 with Purcellville, is that a team that just had an incredible offense, or was that a team struggling maybe a little bit on the mound? On the other hand, when you go to the Waynesboro game, which was another 8-4, kind of funny, we had 3 games that were 8-4 in one night. Don't remember that happening on any of our other Rewind podcasts. But when you look at Waynesboro beating Strasburg 8-4, that's Strasburg's got, according to John, the best pitching in the league. And so here is Waynesboro taking a game on offense away from the best pitching in the league. So kind of interesting to look at it from that perspective. Marion, any thoughts?
Well, I will throw in that on the mound, Charlottesville had Devin Hemingway, who threw 5 shutout innings in that game. So when someone's throwing that well, it's going to be hard to hit off of them.
No, and I totally get that. So you got strong pitching from Charlottesville. Is it really super strong offense? You got players hitting 400 in Charlottesville. So you got to say yes. Admittedly, not sure where Purcellville was with its pitching in that particular game. Anyway, just a thought. Anyway, so let's see. I think we still got that covers it, right? Did we cover everything? Did we miss any games? There's an average of 5 games a night in the Valley League, which kind of blows my mind. I know there've been a few games where there were rainouts, and occasionally as we get into the All-Star season, there's 1 or 2 games, and then we'll have a makeup game. But I mean, to me, there's just an incredible amount of baseball that takes place in the Valley in a fairly short amount of time. Well, anything else you guys want to add before we toss it to the game of the night?
I've actually got one quick thing. I want to make one more shout out to the Woodstock River Bandits. Nick Halessa in that performance against the Turks, 2 home runs at the plate. Every time you have an athlete, and occasionally we get it, but sometimes it just goes in big kind of spans where nothing really happens as far as dingers just leaving the park. But Nick Halessa, 2 home runs in the night in that 6-3 win over the Turks. Fantastic performance by him. I just wanted to add that quick before we move on into Charlottesville for the night.
Well, hey, while we're giving players shout-outs, I got to give Mason Prasowski a shout-out from the Winchester Royals. 4 for 5, scores a run, gets an RBI, and stolen base. I owe you guys some stats on him because, to me, if I remember correctly, he was a base-stealing machine. Doesn't have the 18 stolen bases of Aaron's player, but I'm going to go back and find that stat for you. I swear I will. All right, with that said, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We are going to wish you all perfect health, and we're going to wish us all a speedy return to the baseball diamond. Until tomorrow night, for Aaron, Jordan, and myself, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same YouTube channel. Good night.
The Commissioner of the Valley Baseball League would like to welcome you to tonight's contest.
Hernandez delivers. McDyer hits this one up the middle at 4-base hit. So McDyer with the Tom Sox first hit of the game and leadoff single for Charlottesville. Hernandez comes set. Staring over at first base, now comes home. This will be hit over and past Sanguinetti at first base. Brewer fields, and they will hold the runner at second as Brewer shows off a gun, getting it into the infield to keep the runner from taking the extra base. Your eye's a little bit better than mine, right, Joe. At least a better angle, too. 1-1 pitch. Hits him in the head. Hernandez lost control of that one, an edge on via the hit by pitch. Luckily, a glancing blow for the left fielder, as he looks no worse for wear. But now the Cannons in deep trouble after that first inning with 3 quick outs. It's been 3 quick base runners for Charlottesville. Here's Devin Warner, and he will hit this one out to left field. Going back, it's Stanley, and it's going to get over his head. Stanley picks it up off the bounce off the wall. 1 run in, second runner kind of jogging his way in. So a 2-run double for Devin Warner goes the opposite way to the deepest part of the park, and Charlottesville with a 2-0 lead. Showalter. Deep bend out of that stretch position. Now delivers. Hit up the middle, and that's going to get by Kosiski. 1 run will score. Second run will stop at third base. They let it go through. Trace able to knock it down and keep Fedgie Johnson at first base. But another run in on the RBI single. It's now Charlottesville 3, Cannons nothing. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This will be hit the other way. Past Kosiski, was playing up the middle. Another run in on the RBI single by Richardson. Now 4-0. Cannons for the second straight night, trailing 4-0 in a game. 0-2 pitch. Hit to shortstop. Bain has to get rid of it quickly. High throw over the head of Sanguinetti. And McDyer will be on first base. But he's supposed to get some bad weather tomorrow. Thunder and lightning all day, so we'll see if the Cannons get down to Covington. Rocket it out to right center field. The Cannons outfielders will just look at that one as that over top of the scoreboard out in right center field. 2-run homer for Christian Hlinka and a 6-0 lead for the Charlottesville Tom Sox. Here's the 3-0 pitch from the Cannons righty. This almost hits Fedgie Johnson, and a 4-pitch walk for the Tom Sox shortstop. Garza, up and down stance. Adams delivers as the runner goes, hit out to center field. This one's going to drop in. Perfectly executed hit and run by the Tom Sox as Richardson goes all the way over to third base. Now Tom Sox on the corners with just one out. Adams delivers the 1-0. This will be rocketed out to right field. It'll get cut off in the gap. One run will score as Brewer gets it in quickly to second base to hold Francisco to a single. Runner goes. 2-1 pitch is in for a strike. Throw down goes past Kosiski. I don't know if he was even looking at the ball. Now the run comes in from third base as Garza will score. Barley delivers. Hit out to left field. Stanley goes back too far and comes in. Can't get it. Throws to the plate. 2 runs will score. And it'll be a 2-run single for Brock Edge. And Charlottesville has now opened this one up. They now lead it 10-0. So a 1-1. Here it is. Stanley hits this one out to right field, going back and getting out of here. So for a second straight game, Jacob Stanley goes deep. He gets the Cannons on the board. It's Charlottesville 10, Cannons 1. Crawford delivers. This will be hit out. This one's hit even harder, and this one is out of here too. Back to back. Sanguinetti follows up Stanley, and the Cannons have something going. They now trail 10-2. And Chase Sanguinetti. Throw over, and now Hyde is picked off. Hyde trying to stay in the rundown long enough to get the run in. He does. So Hyde doing part of his job there, tries to keep it going. Hyde still in the rundown, goes to the ground, and they'll say he is out there. So Hyde gets picked off, but the run does count as heads-up play as Hyde stays in the rundown long enough to get Trace in from third. Cannons put 3 on the board. Now Charlottesville 10, Cannons 3.
That's the 9 o'clock hour in the East Coast. That one misses low. 5-pitch walk. And another base runner to lead things off for Charlottesville here in the top of the 7th. At the 0-2 pitch. Long look back to second. Now comes home. Ground ball right side, and it's going to go in the hole. Brewer comes up with it, fires home. Through the cut man, it gets by the catcher, so runner moves up to second as Sanguinetti cannot corral in the cutoff throw. Took a bad hop over the head of Austin Trace, and a game back of the playoffs behind Winchester. Roped left field, it'll get down. 1 run will score. See if Richardson tries to come around. He will stay put at third base. So an RBI single for Ramon Garza. It's his second RBI single of the night. And the Tom Sox now lead 11-3. Nobody gone. Righty-lefty matchup favors the batter Francisco. Line drive right field. It'll get down, and another run will come in to score. Thomas Francisco, RBI single. Charlottesville leads 12-3. With Hlinka battling at the plate. Here's the pitch. Line drive right center field. It'll get down. 1 run will score. Brewer comes in to field it, and a potential second run is stopped at third base. So it's another RBI single for the Tom Sox in the 7th inning. They now have a 10-run lead. Nice night. Was also hit by a pitch and reached on a fielder's choice. Has scored 2 runs and has an RBI. Farley comes home. Ground ball right side. Kosiski has to range. It's under his glove and into the outfield. Brewer's there. 1 run will score. A long throw from Brewer is up the line. The tag is not in time. An RBI base hit from Kamen Richardson makes it 15-3. And a good amount of fans finding their way. As that one sent the other way, left field. Stanley comes back. Should be deep enough. And he takes another step back. It'll be a sacrifice fly for Thomas Francisco. Another RBI and another run. Charlottesville up 16-3.
Hyde delivers. Hit up the middle. Kosiski fields, shovels over to second base for 1, over to first base. Not in time as Sanguinetti couldn't handle the throw. And the run comes in from third base. That's Warner. Add 1 more to the total. Delivers. Off the end of the bat, down to first base, Hlinka bobbles it, picks it up, and able to beat the Speedy Brewer to the bag to end the game. And Charlottesville comes to Purcellville and beats the Cannons 18-3.